Kiana Moore was 9 years old, petite and soft-spoken, with a head full of coiled curls and the quiet resolve of someone who had already learned far too early what it meant to be underestimated. She lived in a modest 2-bedroom apartment with her mother, Monique, who worked long shifts at the hospital as a nurse. Her world wasn't fancy: second-hand clothes, public buses, and lots of quiet evenings with her nose buried in books or watching martial arts videos on YouTube while her mom snored on the couch from exhaustion. But Kiana had something others couldn't see: focus, patience, and an iron will tempered by years of being told she wasn't enough, not loud enough, not girly enough, not tough enough, not white enough. It started with an old Bruce Lee DVD her uncle left behind one summer. Kiana was 6 and completely mesmerized by how someone so small could move with such grace and power. She began mimicking the moves in the living room until she begged her mom to let her take lessons. It took almost a year of saving, but finally, Monique signed her up at the Rising Sun Dojo, a traditional martial arts school tucked between a laundromat and a grocery outlet in downtown Atlanta. The Rising Sun Dojo wasn't flashy. No trophies in glass cases, no loud techno music or plastic belts like the chain karate places. Just a calm, hardwood-floored room with fading banners that read, honor, discipline, and control. The sensei, an older Japanese-American man named Hiroshi Igarashi, ran the school with quiet precision and expected the same from his students. Kiana instantly admired him. He didn't talk much, but when he did, everyone listened. He had the kind of stillness that demanded attention, like water before a storm. But Kiana's quietness, her skin, her gender, these were targets for the trio of trouble who ruled the dojo's youth class like they were the karate kings of Georgia. Logan, Carter, and Blake were all 11, tall for their age, and wore orange belts that they flaunted like badges of superiority. They came from private schools and lived in suburban homes with 2-car garages and after-school snacks waiting on granite countertops. Their parents cheered loudly from the bleachers and brought Gatorade in bulk. Kiana came alone most days, walking the 5 blocks from school and waiting on the sidewalk until class started. From day one, the boys targeted her. "Look, it's Frofu again," Logan whispered one day, smirking. "Bet she thinks she's gonna break a board with those tiny arms. She probably watches kung fu movies and thinks she's in a real dojo," Carter added. "She looks like one of those toy dolls you press, and it falls over," Blake chimed in, drawing giggles from the other kids. Kiana never responded. Not once. Instead, she tightened her belt, rolled her shoulders back, and practiced. She wasn't there to entertain them. She wasn't there to prove anything, to them, at least. Sensei Igarashi watched everything, as always, silently. It was on a humid Thursday afternoon in early May when everything changed. The class had just finished drills when the sensei called the students to line up by belt color. Kiana was near the middle now, a newly minted yellow belt, and had trained rigorously for her next stripe. Logan, Carter, and Blake were ahead of her in rank, which they reminded her of constantly. "We will end today's class with a short sparring demonstration," Sensei said, his voice low but clear. 2-minute sessions. Light contact. You are not here to win. You are here to understand. The room filled with murmurs and shifting feet. Sparring was serious business. Most kids liked the idea in theory but hated being called out to do it in front of everyone. Kiana exhaled deeply and lowered her stance. She loved sparring. It was where all the theory and training finally became real. A test of reflexes, not just strength. Sensei read off the names. Logan and Carter. Kiana and Marcus. You will pair. There was a beat of silence before the murmuring resumed. Logan and Carter high-fived behind their backs. Blake whispered, "Oh man, this is gonna be hilarious." Marcus, a shy and awkward 10-year-old with a growth spurt he hadn't quite grown into yet, glanced at Kiana with a pale face. I don't really know how to spar that well," he stammered. "I get nervous. Kiana nodded. That's okay. Just stay light on your feet. I'll cover you if I can. He blinked. You'll cover me? She nodded again. Just do your best. The four took their positions on the mat. The entire youth class gathered around the sparring square. Sensei raised his hand. Begin. Marcus lunged forward, trying a basic jab, but Carter sidestepped and swept him down with a cocky flourish. He hit the floor with a loud thump and a gasp. The class tittered nervously. Now it was just Kiana left standing. Carter grinned. Oops. Guess it's 2-on-1, frofu. Logan smirked. Bet you wish you stayed in the back of the line today. Kiana didn't flinch. She shifted her weight, exhaled slowly through her nose, and fell into a basic fighting stance. The taunts rolled off her like water on glass. Logan came first, clumsily fast. His overconfidence was a flaw he never fixed. Kiana read him like a children's book. As he moved in, she pivoted, deflected his punch with an outside block, and struck a controlled jab to his solar plexus. Not hard, just precise enough to knock him off balance. He stumbled back, eyes wide. Carter lunged next, trying to grab her with both hands. She spun out of the way, caught his left wrist in a grip she'd practiced 100 times on her mom's couch cushions, and threw him with a shoulder lock. He hit the mat hard. Gasps broke out. The match was only 30 seconds in. Logan got up again, more furious than before, this time leading with a wild kick. She ducked, rolled, and popped up behind him. He turned, and found her foot an inch from his face. She didn't kick. She didn't need to. The message was clear. He froze. Carter attempted one last move, a desperate sweep. But she stepped aside, caught his leg mid-swing, and used his own momentum to twist him to the ground. The room was dead silent. The whole spar had lasted less than 60 seconds. Sensei Igarashi stepped forward, silent as always. He studied the two boys on the floor, breathing heavily and looking stunned. Then he turned to Kiana and gave a single, respectful nod. Well controlled. Excellent technique. That is the art of restraint. Kiana bowed. Class dismissed. The dojo erupted in whispers. Some students looked at her with new respect. A few clapped. Even Marcus managed to sit up and grin. Carter and Logan didn't look at her. They got up and shuffled to the locker rooms without a word. That night, Kiana and her mother sat at their small kitchen table eating chicken stir-fry from paper plates. Her mom wore her blue scrubs, eyes tired but warm. "How was class?" she asked between bites. Kiana smiled. "It was good." Her mom looked up. Yeah. They had sparring today. I got to go up. Did you do okay?" "I did more than okay," Kiana replied with a soft grin. "I held my own." Monique reached over and ruffled her daughter's curls. "That's my girl." Later that evening, Kiana sat cross-legged on her bed, holding her yellow belt in her lap. She traced the embroidered stitching, feeling the threads like seams in her journey. It wasn't just a piece of cloth, it was proof. Proof that she had worked hard, stayed silent when she could have lashed out, trained when she could have given up. And when the time came, she didn't just defend herself. She stood with clarity, calm, and power. Outside, the city buzzed and blinked. Inside, Kiana was still. She knew there would be more bullies. In karate class, at school, maybe even in life. But they wouldn't see her coming. Not until it was too late.